The Super 7, Gifted, by Celeste Thyssen. Chapter 1, Deep in Woods. 13-year-old Chrissy had always known she could read people's minds. Oh, and she could do a few neat tricks, such as levitating small objects. But all of that seemed of very little importance as she found herself face to face with a huge brown bear. She had been picking berries from a large Saskatoon bush for almost a year. Hearing noises from other side of the bush, she had assumed it was one of her sisters. But no. As she picked her way round to other side, she finally saw the cause of the noise. A bear! Happily eating the purple berries from the branches with its huge mouth. She stood frozen for a moment, just staring. The bear didn't seem to notice her as it continued its berry feast. She looked down at the full pail of Saskatoons in her hand. She had heard that it was wise to leave what you carried behind to make good your escape. But these berries were for Mother. They were going to have pie. Slowly, Chrissy backed her way around to the other side of the bush. Then, despite her mother's repeated warnings about not running from wild animals, she sprinted from the bush and up the steps of a small cottage. She threw open the door and then shoved it close with both hands. Chrissy turned to see the wide, startled blue eyes of her mother. "Mom," she gasped, "a bear outside!" In a word, a laughter sprang up, replacing the building panic. Her mother smiled. "Of course there are bears. We're living in the middle of nowhere, Chrissy. Animals still live out here." Her mother laughed calm her racing heart. "We are safe, we are safe." Her mother also had the gift. Chrissy moved into the kitchen and set the berries on the counter. She gazed out the large picture window. She saw the bush where she had been picking berries, but she didn't see the bear. "There really is a bear out there, Mom, right on the other side of that bush," she said, pointing. "Oh, I believe you." Her mother studied her for a long moment as Chrissy continued to look outside. "Chrissy, you looked so much like your father. Of the three of your girls, you remind me of him the most. Your thick dark hair, your dark eyes, even the freckles on your nose." She clutched his hand together. Her fingers seemed intent on having a war with one another. "It's too bad you are not more like him." Chrissy turned on her mother. "I'm glad I'm not like him. He abandoned us, Mom. I'm never going to be like him." "Chrissy," her mother reached for her. "I just meant it's too bad that you are gifted, my third and last daughter. I had hoped you would escape that curse." "Mom, no," she protested. "I love what I am. I love being like you." "But if you won't like me," her mother whispered, I could keep you out of danger. Chrissy and her sisters have been homeschooled and has experienced very little of outside world. The gifted won't appreciate by most normal people, and it didn't help that most of the gifted use their special ability for self-gain. Many of the gifted had become criminals. When their father had left, their mother had sold their little house in the city and bought this cabin, deep in the woods, far away from people. He did what he had to do to protect us, her mother said calmly, smoothing the apron he wore over the floral printed dress. Don't be angry with him, Chrissy. He left us, Mom. Never visit, never even calls. He must not love us anymore. Chrissy, that's not true. Your father, he is a good man. He hugged her mother then. The concern and sorrow coming from the older woman was just too much to bear. All will be well, Mother. I'm glad for what I am, and one day you will see I have been made right. She stroked her mother's hair as she cried. They were almost the same height now. Chrissy would protect her mother just as her mother had always protected her. Evil might come, but it would win. He wouldn't let it. Then she turned away from the line of the sword. No use dreaming up trouble. Then I wouldn't have sent you away too. Chrissy almost didn't catch the stray thought as he just wanted to master her own emotions. Send us away? She pulled back to look into her mother's face. My child, I'm sorry. I'm going to send you and your sisters to boarding school. It's just safer. Chrissy's tears began to flow then too, as she hugged his mother again. His sisters had never been separate from their mother, not even for one night. I don't agree, said Chrissy. The best place for me is with my family. Tears glistened on her cheeks. You need to learn how to use your gifts, and you will have your sisters with you. At the end of the summer, when the leaves were changing color, it was time for the three girls to go away to boarding school. Their mother had decided that she would drive them the 6 hours to school for the gifted, and then return to the cabin. The day they were to leave, the three of them were decked out to the school uniforms, a yellow and a teal skirt and a teal blouse. Yellow and the teal were the color of the school, apparently. These skirts are just lovely, remarked Tommy. Yes, replied Alexa. And it's going to be nice to meet other kids. Tommy knocked and they walked out to the car together. Chrissy thought the uniform was hideous. She would rather wear a nice pair of blue jeans any day. She couldn't believe they were so happy. Her sisters were older though, 16 and 17. Chrissy was pretty sure what they meant by other kids was boys. But she didn't want to meet other kids or boys. She wanted to stay with her mother in the cabin, deep in the woods. Silently, Christy followed them out to the car, but she didn't allow their button views of optimism to affect her. She didn't want to go. The long drive to school secret location was uneventful. They stayed mainly on the large highway, and the traffic wasn't bad. But as soon as the mother turned onto the long driveway that led to the school, Chrissy sensed something was wrong, very wrong.